Welcome to The Explainers. Today, we're going to crack open an ancient operating system for the mind that, you'll see, is more relevant than ever. It's called Stoicism.
So let me ask you this. Have you ever felt totally overwhelmed by the chaos of modern life? You know, the constant pings from your phone, the endless news cycle, that pressure to just keep up? If so, you're so not alone. It's that feeling of being pushed and pulled around by things that are way outside of your control. And here's the wild part. This feeling, it's not new, not at all. The ancient Stoics, living in their own crazy, tumultuous times, they saw this exact same human challenge. They pretty much figured that no matter how much technology or politics changed, the basic human struggle of dealing with uncertainty, that was going to stick around.
Okay, so let's dive right in. Now, Stoicism isn't about being some emotionless robot. Forget that. Think of it like a practical toolkit, forged thousands of years ago, designed to help us build resilience, find our purpose, and even find joy, right in the middle of our messy, unpredictable lives.
So the Stoics basically built their whole system around three core disciplines. We're going to walk through all of them. Think of them as three skills to master: how you see things, what you actually do, and what you choose to want. If you can get these right, you're going to be prepared for almost anything life throws at you.
So, where do we even begin? Well, we start with the absolute bedrock, the first and most powerful tool in the entire kit. It's all about learning to see the world with a brand new kind of clarity, and it starts by drawing a line in the sand.
This right here is called the dichotomy of control. And it's this super simple but honestly life-changing idea. Some things in life are within your power, and a whole lot of other things just aren't. The first job of a Stoic is to get crystal clear on which is which.
So, let's break that down. What's on either side of that line? Things not in your control. Traffic jams, the weather, what your coworker thinks of you. You can't do anything about those. But what is in your control? Your choices, your judgments, your actions right this second. That's your turf. Look, here's a powerful way to put this into practice. Seriously, try this tonight. Grab a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle. On one side, list everything that worried you today. On the other side, for each thing, just ask, was this actually in my control? You're going to see how much of your anxiety lives on that not in my control side of the page. The whole point is to just let that side go and pour all your energy into the things you can do something about.
And hey, this isn't just some dusty, ancient idea from a forgotten book. It is so powerful that it's the core of modern practices like the Serenity Prayer. It's just a timeless piece of wisdom about focusing our energy where it actually matters. Okay, so we've drawn a line between what we can and can't control. But if we can't control what happens to us, why do those things still make us so miserable? Well, the answer, it turns out, lies in the second discipline, mastering our perception.
There's this fantastic distinction from the legendary samurai swordsman Musashi that really helps explain this. He talked about the observing eye, which just sees the objective facts. You know, it is raining. Then there's the perceiving eye, which adds a whole story on top of it. It's raining, and now my whole day is ruined. You see the difference? That extra story, that's the real source of our trouble.
So here's the absolute key takeaway. It's not the traffic jam that's making you furious. No, it's your judgment that the traffic jam is a terrible, horrible, day-ruining thing that's making you furious. The event itself, it's neutral. It's our interpretation that gives it all its power over us. This is where we take our power back. So how do you actually do this in the moment? The second you feel that flash of anger or frustration, just pause. Ask yourself, is this situation objectively bad, or is this my judgment about it? Try to strip the story away. Instead of thinking, my boss hating my idea is a total disaster, just reframe it to the bare fact. My boss didn't comment on my idea. That little space you create between the event and your reaction, man, that is where all your freedom is.
All right, so we've looked at what to focus on and how to see it clearly. But Stoicism is not a passive philosophy. This isn't just a thinking game. So let's move to the third and final discipline and see how all this gets put into practice, the discipline of action.
You know, the Stoics were super clear on this. Philosophy is something you do, not just something you quote. Anyone can repeat wise words, but living them, that's the real work. The whole goal is to close that gap between what we know we should do and what we actually do.
And you see this idea pop up in the most amazing places. Take legendary football coach Nick Saban. He taught his championship-winning team something he called the process. He'd tell them, forget the championship, forget the final score. Just focus on executing this one single play right now as perfectly as you can. Because a game, a season, a whole life, it's all just built from those tiny, individual, focused actions.
So where should we look for our satisfaction? Think about it. If your well-being is tied to praise and glory, you're depending on other people. If it's tied to pleasure, you're depending on feelings that come and go. But if it's tied to your own actions, to knowing you did the right thing, that you gave your best effort, well, then your well-being is firmly and finally in your own hands.
And in the end, this is what it all really boils down to. Philosophy isn't just for books and dusty lecture halls. It's an artisan's craft. A carpenter has wood, a sculptor has bronze, and you have your life. That is the raw material you get to work with every single day. So the question Stoicism leaves us with, it's a really powerful one. Using this toolkit, the power to choose your focus, to shape your perceptions, and to direct your actions, what are you going to make of your day? What will you build?